Hello, guys. Welcome to ESTON Entertainment, your number one source for entertainment. I am so happy to be here with Mr. Asa Leveaux, coming in all the way from Dubai. What is it, like a 10-hour difference?
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, man, that's crazy. I can imagine you're exhausted right now, probably.
It's okay. I'm getting interviewed by Tyler. It is
Oh,
cool.
bless your soul. That was the kindest thing I think I've heard in like weeks now. Anyways, I just came to talk to you about this masterclass coming up this weekend, the 20th and the 21st, right?
Yes,
I
it is.
think I have a whole bunch of people that could make use of this, and I really hope they do, because I'm not for sure what this is about, but hopefully you could explain this during our time together today. Um,
Yeah.
so give us a little insight. What exactly is this, and tell us like how much you have had to go through to get all this together. Like you traveled all the way to Dubai to get this thing started. So tell us about it.
I get that. So first off, if you guys are watching, you're watching because you know Tyler, you dig Tyler. Thank you for watching. I appreciate the the respect, the love. I dig it all. So thank you for showing up. Yes, my name is Asa Leveaux, and yes, I am producing the Proud and Paid Masterclass. It's taking place November 20th and 21st. On the 20th, it starts at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and on the 21st, it starts at noon Central Standard Time. So why in the whole world did I say yes to this? Well, I said yes to this because what I do in my life is I am known as America's #1 entrepreneur coach. What that means is I coach LGBTQ entrepreneurs on how to create their first $10,000 in business authentically. But why did I do this? Well, in my almost a decade of experience coaching, one thing that I get time, and over again from my clients who are queer identified is this mythological mindset that somehow or another, in order for them to be financially successful and successfully in so many other ways, they feel as though they have to be quote unquote straight in order to be successful or look like or present themselves as though they are. That comes from a lot of different things that happen in their childhood, through their adolescent years, puberty, teenager, young adult. All of that led up and had a contribution to this idea that they're not worthy of really being dope. Like really taking an idea and creating a profit from that idea. So in a nutshell, that is why I said yes to creating it.
Well, that's amazing. What is this going to be about? What all will we learn from this? What all will we gain from this Proud and Paid Masterclass?
Sure. So the Proud and Paid Masterclass is really that. It asks the question and presents an answer to that same question. Can you really be proud and paid? So we know, most of us understand that what it means to go to a gay pride festival, gay pride rally. If you are LGBTQ identified or not, like you know what that means. Well, that's a very celebratory time. You got your beads, you got your music, clubs are open, drinks are flowing, you probably got a six-pack watching the parade go by. Like, it's cool. But what happens when the parade is over? What happens when all the glitter is washed away from the streets? What happens when you are no longer the cutest thing in the club or at the party and you got down off that box? You're no longer shaking what your mama gave you and you are home. And you have to remember everything that Uncle John, Aunt Sarah, grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, your stepbrother, the person that you're in love with that wants to keep you a secret. You have to remember everything that they ever said to you and somehow get the energy to go out and start something for yourself.
Man.
How in the hell do you do that when you feel like no one is supporting you, no one believes in you, no one really gets that you can be this thing over here and this thing over here? Like, you don't have to undye your hair. You don't have to take that particular piercing out. You don't have to conform in any way. And the reason why, somebody in this world is literally on their knees or proverbially on their knees in a prayer state, a meditative state, or a silent state, praying, asking, requesting, desiring for you to show up in their world. And because you don't feel good enough, you choose not to. And when you choose not to, there are people in the world that are suffering because they need someone just like you to help
Well, that was incredibly well said. That was moving. I felt like I was watching a movie. Like you got a script, you got a green screen or something back there. Like you reading off some. Man, that was amazing.
No,
I just snap out of it, Tyler. Um,
no. This is what I do. I
yeah,
talk about
yeah.
this.
I
I
love
live
your
this.
lives. I love your posts on Facebook. Literally, I love everything you do, and this is
Thank
again
you.
such an honor that I get to like talk with you and stuff. Again, that I get this
It's an
interview with you.
honor on my side too. The honor
Oh,
doesn't go
shoot.
one way.
Anyways, so everyone, this is on YouTube, so go ahead and rewind all that. If you did not get enough of that speaking, we still got a little bit to go with all this as well. So that's incredible. This will all be virtual, correct?
This will all be virtual. And so when I say virtual, just to be clear,
Okay.
because sometimes people say virtual is not really virtual.
Not
So what I mean by
really.
virtual is it will be streamed.
Okay.
We have a group, a community on Facebook called the Queer Money Gang. The Queer
He's got the mug
Money
and
Gang.
everything.
So the Queer Money Gang, the community on Facebook, you can find it by going to queermoneygang.com. So we will be distributing the content there, no charge. We will also be on your smart TV. So if you have
Really?
Apple TV, Android TV, Fire Stick, or Roku, we will be on there as well.
That's incredible. That that's
Thank you.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
We, we
I
are ensuring that we can reach a large amount
yeah.
of people
Yeah, because
very
I can
well.
imagine how important this is
This
going to
is
be.
a virtual event.
Yeah, that's so
Yes,
awesome. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this. I'm so
me
excited
too.
for all the people that this will hopefully impact, you know? It's like
Yes,
I,
agreed.
I can imagine how many other people went through just as much work as you too to help get all this together. So it's like I really hope this impacts like a worldwide audience, you know? That's what
It
you're doing.
will.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
will. And the reason why I can say that with such confidence is as of this moment, the last time I checked, we were at 855 registrations.
Seriously.
Seriously,
That's crazy.
verifiable,
That
like
is crazy.
verifiable. Like I can screenshot it.
who who are some names that will be on with you during this masterclass?
Sure. So we have some what I call dope AF speakers. That's actually on the website.
Okay, I was like, are we censoring
No,
this
that's
here?
actually on the
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
If you
okay.
go to if you go to proudandpaid.com, you will see that's the verbiage. We are different. I'll say that. So the type of people that will be there, they'll be providing assistance. We have Candice Liger. She is a health and kink expert. Yeah, I
Really?
said that correct. Health and
Really?
kink. Yeah. So she actually, one thing about her, she starts her, when people think about kink, they think all kinds of things. But the
Yeah,
the
right.
the foundational thing that she teaches with kink is what? Honoring the permission.
Yeah. I mean, when you first hear it, it's really hard to wrap your head around because it's like that's what we've been programmed to do.
Right, right, right.
You hear kink and you're like, okay, let's. uh, um, but it is such an important thing. The health and safety. It's like sex is a whole different conversation. That's a whole different topic. That's a whole different safety procedure, and especially with kinks, because it's like that, that could go down a totally different road, and that
And
could
I
be weird.
felt it was important to bring the sex conversation to the Pride and Faith Masterclass.
Of
Number
course.
one, we, as far as homosexuals, pansexuals, we are known for putting the sex in homosexual. So because
I'm
I
that was funny. That
I am no fool. I am no fool. And I understand that people are pausing their Tinder accounts, their Grinder accounts, their Scruff accounts, their Plenty of Fish accounts, all to take part in this virtual event. So because of that, I need to stimulate
yeah,
them in other ways. So this helps that. We have Jay Murphy. Jay Murphy is a very well-known Instagram personality. She is specifically a health and wellness coach for overweight individuals.
seriously, that's
Seriously.
incredible. That is
And
incredible.
she's identified as that. Like you see her, she is that. And so we don't, it's not about not body shaming. It is about making sure that all bodies feel loved.
Of
Not
course.
even body having this body new normal, just about loving everybody's body, just being that. So she's gonna bring that conversation. We have Calvin Witcher, who is just known as a prophet, but he's so much more than and you hear the word prophet, and you probably immediately think of
Quick
somebody at 3
question.
o'clock in the morning selling holy water.
Quick question. Have you gotten to work with all these people at some point in time?
I've known, worked aside, worked with, had deep conversations with 90% of everyone here.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
90%.
That just
So
makes this
I hand pick
so much stronger.
people. Yeah.
Really?
Because I don't take audiences lightly. I know the mission that I have in this
Of
world.
course.
I know the calling that I'm meant for. And I also have a responsibility to protect those individuals who see a light in me so that they can spark their own lights within them.
Yeah.
And so, because I protect them, I also protect who's in front of them. So, you just because you have a name, that does not mean you get to speak to my people.
Of course. Of
Not
course.
at all. I value my people. I do. Like hardcore value, like I'll pour hot grits on somebody for messing with my people.
uh, the hot grits. I was not. It was that one for me.
Yeah, because
Hot
that's
grits for
that's
me.
thick too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, got those people. We also have some more well-known names, like Kimmy G. Kimmy G is one of Beyonce's dance captains.
Really.
Really?
That's incredible. That's
And then
incredible.
we have two winners from. No, we have one contestant. No, she's a runner-up. We have a runner-up and a crowned queen from RuPaul's Drag Race.
Seriously.
We have
That's
Kennedy Davenport,
that's incredible.
was runner up, but she's also won pageants. So she's a pageant drag queen. So she's had multiple titles in that pageant world. But then Monet Exchange was actually a double crownee, a double title winner for All-Star Season 4. Yep.
Seriously,
And when
that
I
must be,
say, and these people have large followings, so like when
of
they
course.
exchange,
Yeah,
have
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
million,
yeah.
a million followers on Instagram,
That
like a
I mean,
million.
the bigger the audience, I mean, the bigger the audience this reaches, of course, that's going to be
Right.
exceptional content too, exceptional speakers, exceptional
Hmm.
motivation. That's
Exactly.
that's incredible that you got these people because it's like they've already
Yeah,
they
it
made a name for
took a while.
themselves and they've already inspired who knows how many people with what
Right,
they do and probably their backstories too. That's
right. And we're going to be digging into that. Because my thing is, I always think about, of course, in America, because we're going to be American focused for this event,
of course.
even though we understand people from different parts of the world will be on.
Mhm.
But I don't always think, let me rephrase this. I understand that there are queer identified people in cities like New York City, Miami, Los Angeles, San Diego. Got it. Understand. But one thing about me knowing about these cities, living in these cities before, is that they have a lot of resources. They have entire
Oh yeah. Oh
communities.
yeah.
Like you can have a whole section of town, not a little alley, not a street. I'm talking about a whole section of town that's just for queer people, like just for queer people. But what happens to that little gay boy in Arkansas? What happens to that lesbian 14-year-old girl in Iowa? Like, how are they doing life? So I know exactly what it feels like to be that person that drops into my arms in Oklahoma because their parent found out that they're gay and they get kicked out and now they are literally, not figuratively, not maybe, no, they are literally homeless at 18, 17 with nowhere to go, no idea what they'll do next, literally just survive.
Yeah.
Especially if that parent is now so angered for one reason or another that they even take their phone away. So imagine taking a seven in 2020, taking a 17 or 18-year-old's phone away,
Yeah.
their phone, and then you kick them out of the house. Like they don't like. There's nothing. There's
The world just
no.
got flipped upside down
Yeah,
for
it, your world just got
who
snatched
who
away.
they love.
Like who do you even talk
It's
to? You don't know where to go.
yeah.
Yeah, no. So I know what that feels like because I've seen it. I've held these people, these beautiful humans, and I always remember them when I am creating content like this.
Yeah.
So even though, yes, we have some amazing people coming on, we're going to have a really good time, but interwoven in the essence of all of this is the knowing that this may be the only outlet that looks like them, sounds like them,
Mhm.
loves like them, that they've maybe ever had. And that's okay.
Of course. I mean, I think if the things you just mentioned, I think if this is their first approach or their first support system, I think this will be the most beautiful thing for them to have in their life. I think this will be a literally giving them a full step of where they can be heading now, where what this future could look like for them as an entrepreneur or a part of the LGBTQ community. Um,
Most definitely. Most definitely. Because I can only imagine who I would have been if I knew someone cared about little Asa.
Yeah.
Big Asa's fine.
You're living your best life right now. You're living your best life.
Big Asa is fine. But yeah, if little Asa would have known. And so one of my directives for my life is to ensure that no one has to have that wondering about the difference between little them and big them.
If I may, if I may go off a little bit, may I
Mhm.
ask if you're comfortable? Of course, would you like to talk about your coming out?
There's nothing you can't ask
Okay. Okay. Good.
me.
Good. 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 Open book here. Got you. Okay. Would you like to talk about your coming out story?
I'm down to.
Okay.
So, my coming out story. Hmm.
Tell us about it. Tell the audience,
Um,
all 63 subscribers.
so please know that mine is, people often say that their coming out story was different. But I'm going to tell you, mine is really different. The reason why I can say that mine was really different, I never considered myself queer.
Hmm.
Why is that? Because I grew up in the 80s and 90s in Oklahoma City with
Oh.
parents who were pastors of a Pentecostal holiness church.
Oh man. Oh
So,
man, I bet you held your tongue for quite some time then.
well, to consider being LGBTQ in that time, in that space,
Yeah.
just to even consider it would be okay. Imagine living on a cattle farm in 1945 in Texas,
Okay.
West Texas,
West Texas, not just okay.
West Texas, 1945. And imagine someone presenting to you the idea of being vegan.
Yeah, right.
So it was like, even if someone on that cattle farm in West Texas in 1945 heard what a vegan, heard the term, heard what it was, the possibility of them ever being that would be like so far away.
Yeah.
So the idea that I even could be was just no, like no,
Unfathomable.
no, totally
Yeah.
unfathomable. It's unfathomable to the point of us right now thinking America could be at a level worse than Afghanistan. You
No.
have no point of reference. Like
No.
it makes, you're just talking silly talk now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like that. Like it's that far fetched. So that looks like me not having experiences like liking a little boy in second grade and wishing he liked me back. When I looked at little boys who little girls thought were attractive, I was like, yeah, you should date them. Never, oh yeah, I should kiss him.
Yeah.
It was never that for me. It was just, oh yeah, Sarah, you should date him. It would be
Yeah.
great for you. It was never, I never projected myself into it. One reason also is because I never saw it.
Yeah.
I never saw it.
Yeah.
I never saw two men holding hands, two men kissing. Even, I mean, I heard, it's like that idea in the back of your mind, like that might be a thing. Kind of like that idea in your brain you ever heard once that the land on Mars in 1960, whatever, was actually shot in a LA movie studio.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, you've heard of that, but it's not like up here. It's like way back there.
It's like one of those passing by thoughts that you start spacing out. You're like, I wonder. You
Right.
yeah.
That's what gay was to me then. It's like that thing. So that means growing up having girlfriends and loving them. That meant being married to a woman and creating a child. Well, co-creating a child.
Yeah.
So my son is 14.
Really.
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 So, so, and then being cheated on repeatedly in that marriage, and then choosing to opt out of that marriage, and soon thereafter, I'm talking about soon
So like,
thereafter,
okay.
it's almost like there was a signal that went off in Gabriel that said Asa is free. All of a
Asa
sudden, I
can do
just started
whatever
getting,
he likes now.
no, no, I didn't. But the siren didn't go off in me. It's like it went off in other people.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I start getting attention from dudes. I'm like, whoa, whoa, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, no, 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 no. This can't be the
This
best
isn't
thing.
how this works.
This isn't a
Unless,
happy thing.
unless.
Yeah, like it can't be a thing. So it's like it just can't. So I first got actually like somebody came on strong, strong. Like had my first I am Simon type experience in
Yeah.
Texas, like in Dallas. And I was like, okay, that happened, but that don't mean nothing. It just happened.
Yeah.
And then that shit happened again with a whole nother person. I'm like, I wonder. So then I became the Q in LGBTQ because Q doesn't just stand for queer, it stands for questioning. So I was questioning, I was like, what is this about? I still like girls. I do. Still like girls. But yeah. So then I'm still in the army this whole time. So
Oh, really?
I
You had your time in the.
yeah,
You did. I think I remember seeing that on the.
almost 19 years.
Really. Congrats.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So I went to OCS. I was enlisted first, and then I went to OCS to become an officer. And I went to OCS in South Dakota in the Black Hills, right in the same city as where they have Sturgis. And I remember seeing a guy not in the shower. He walked out of the shower, and I said, "Hot damn." Hot damn. And then another idea came in my mind. Maybe I didn't think I was gay because nobody in my high school was hot.
Oh, gee.
So everybody that went to Carl Albert 1998 to
Hey,
2002,
close your ears.
blame you.
This is. Don't come for me now, right?
If you guys were hotter, I might have been different. Um, but yeah, I saw him. I was like, whoa, like, holy hell, like, oh, shit, what do I do now? So didn't do anything. Still was pursuing women, and then I had become an officer. I was good. By this time, I had made captain, and I was stationed at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. It's something about Texas. I don't know what the hell about Texas, but something about Texas. So I go to Texas and I meet a guy and I fall head over heels.
Yeah.
I talking about I am the equivalent of a 13-year-old girl falling in love with a 16-year-old boy who's popular and has a car. I'm a fumbling, babbling, giddy, starstruck over 30-year-old. So I always say in my regular life, yeah, I'm in my 30s. In gay life, I am a teenager.
That's funny.
because everything that my peers had been doing
Yeah.
since they were 15, and some of the things they told me, I'm like, you did that at 15? Uh, the things that they were doing, I'm just now experiencing, like in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So when I fall in love with someone, I tell everyone, I am someone who loves loud and in color. I do not know how to keep that to myself. I
I
am.
feel that a little bit. I feel that a little bit. Any of my friends watching, they all know when I like someone, I can't keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, I can be with my friends and we'll because I don't eat meat. So we might still go to Popeyes to like their sides. We could be the drive through
No.
at Popeyes, like, hey, what you want? All right, she wants number 7. And oh, by the way, I'm in love with so and so, and I'll have mashed potatoes and green beans.
They didn't hear a thing. Just slide and then just a little.
Or I'll go to my one of my favorite stores at the mall, Aldo. Somebody coming to me, hi, how are you doing? Excuse me, who are you talking to? I'm with so and so. I am that guy. I'm nerdy, blushy, movie, yeah. So because of that, I was like, okay, I'm in love with the guy, and I'm not willing to be quiet. So I made the decision. It's time to start calling people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first person that I called, I needed an easy win. I needed a real
Oh, of
easy
course. Yeah, that had to be like a.
win.
You had to take stepping stones. I can only imagine.
So the first person I called was my best friend Rod. We have been friends since we were 17. Went to the same school district as each other. Went to college. We're together. Just been friends the whole time. But I knew he was bi,
Yeah.
and because he had came out to me about 3 or 4 years earlier, and I was like, "Hey, Rod," I said, "Here's the thing. Um, I see myself on a. I know how I'm gonna die." He said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, I know how I'm gonna die. I'm gonna be on a beach. It's gonna be really beautiful. I'm gonna be older, and there's somebody next to me, and they're beautiful, and they're right there, and I feel close to them, and I don't know if it's gonna be a man or a woman." And I just kind of sat there.
Yeah.
He's like, "Are you trying to tell me something?"
Uh,
I said, I definitely like a guy. And I don't know if I like all guys or just this one only guy in the world.
yeah.
But what I'm not willing to say is that I don't like him. I really like him. Like a lot. Like I smile in my sleep. Yeah. And he's like, sounds good. What else is going on?
Yeah. Right. So
And so that was,
he was like cool.
he
But
was cool.
were any of
So
your friends like, Asa, we've been new?
no one,
Really?
no one.
That's crazy.
People who didn't like me and people who have access to my friends and have access to my family, but not access to me,
Yeah.
say that to them. So people on the very, very, very outside looking in say that because I've never been an alpha male. I've never been an alpha anything. I've always been the creature that you see in front of you. Um, but I haven't been overly feminine. So
Yeah.
I'm not the kind of guy like, yes, bitch, yes. I'm not that. I'm totally, I'm totally not that guy.
That's funny.
But I like guys who are that guy. But I'm not that guy. So
Yeah.
luckily, the call to my friend Rod was the energy that I needed to talk to my mom. Because remember, my mom was a preacher.
Mhm.
I didn't know how it was gonna go because even though my mom was a preacher, she had went to seminary and she was actually doing weddings for gay people.
Really?
Yeah. So I called her in a nutshell, told her about the guy I felt like I was in love with. And she said, "You're going through a phase." I said, "Mom, I'm over 30. There's no phases. I ran out of phases."
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
she says, "Hmm, I'll call you back."
Oh no. That's
Me and my
that's
mother, me and my mother speak every day.
yeah,
And for the first time, we didn't speak for maybe 2 weeks, which seems like an eternity.
of course.
Like we just did not talk. It was silence, total silence.
The amount of pressure that probably put on your heart at
You
that
have no
point.
idea. And I'm in Texas, not in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the fuck? So finally, she calls me back. Now, I don't know how you're going to take this. I don't know how you're going to take this.
Yeah.
But take it any way you want to. You have that freedom.
Ready. Open,
And
open
it does
mind.
not affect me. And it does not affect me anyway. It's not even that bad. But some people take really like a shot.
Yeah.
So she calls me. I say, hello. She said, I got a question. I said, okay. She said, are you a top or a bottom?
That
It
that tone
happened.
that
Yep. Yep.
that tone doesn't speak for 2 weeks, and that's what comes out. Oh my God.
I did my best to prepare you.
I mean, you don't expect that. You don't expect that.
Yeah, that came out of
You're like, okay,
left.
mom's with the
That
times. Okay,
yeah,
we get
that,
it.
that yeah, that came out of left field. That matter of fact, that was outside of the field.
Yeah, no, no, no. Like a meteor
So,
coming down just
so
out
I'm
of
like,
nowhere.
maybe she wants to have a moment, and this is her way. So I tell her, and she's like, okay. Now looking back on it, I see that in Black culture, I don't know about everybody else, but in Black culture, the majority of Black people feel that there is some type of meticulous agenda to to emasculate Black men. So anything that is feminine is deemed wrong or evil, and that is an African American construct. It's not as prevalent in other places. Well, of course, in parts of Africa, it's worse. But in African
Yeah,
American society, it's a construct for sure of its own accord. And so to ask someone if you are a bottom or a top is to find out how much respect I give
yeah,
you. And later on, so even though it didn't affect me in the moment, it affected me years later. Because I started to unpack why it was important to
I
me.
mean, that was a lot to take in all at once. Like, you even saw my reaction. I can only imagine some other people's reactions. It's like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
no,
Oh
man,
yeah.
that
Yeah.
question would be running across your mind for
Yeah.
quite some time. Yeah,
Uh-huh. And then so that happened, and then little by little it got better. But later on, I found out that she called her best friend over to the house, and she cried. She cried like I died, for real. And then the last two of significance, I told my son, but I waited until I got back to Oklahoma, and so I had a speaking engagement in Dallas, Texas. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take him with me. I'm going to drive down to Dallas, and I'm going to tell him on the way to Dallas. And at this time, my son is 9 or
yeah,
8. So I had been talking to him about treating everybody great since he was like 4.
yeah,
So, like, I took him to his first drag show at a pride parade because I was dating a girl whose mom was a lesbian
yeah,
in Michigan. So, like, he had always, and I've always done my best to teach him. Like, if I gave him situational things when he was like 6, Like, okay, if a little boy comes to you and says, I want to, I like you, but you don't like him, what do you say? I say, thank you, but no thank you. Okay. Now, what if a little girl says it? He said, I will depend what she looked like. I said, okay, got it. So we would have situational thing because my
Yeah.
thing is I desire to have a child that people in his world can come to him and be like, you're a safe space. You'll protect me
Yeah.
from people that are treating me bad. So I'm in the car going down and I say, hey, you remember those letters I taught you? LGBTQ. You remember those letters? He's like, I think so. I said, well, let's go over them a little bit. So we go over all the letters. I say, this family member, they are this. Do you realize what that means? Yeah, they like girls. Okay. Your dad is a B. Do you understand that? That's bisexual. That's right, that's bisexual. So you like boys and girls. I said, that's right. So he sat there, which felt like forever.
Yeah.
And he kept looking in the sky. Like he just looked and then he turned and he looked in the sky. And then he looked in the sky. I'm like, what could a little 8-year-old
Yeah,
brain
like
do?
really, what's going through his mind right now? Yeah.
And so finally he looks at me and says, Daddy. I said, yeah, I'm straight. I say, that's cool.
Yeah.
I said, don't ever think that you're not special unless you're LGBTQ. Because sometimes people can feel that all of a sudden you're not special because you're not different.
Yeah.
And you being straight is a cool thing too.
Yeah.
Believe me, there are going to be plenty of people in this world who are very, very happy that you're straight. Very, very
Yeah.
happy. And he's like, okay. And that was it.
That had to, the relief in your heart. Wait, the biggest question though,
That.
how far away was that drive though? Like, were you close to,
So,
like, if that
okay,
went down
do you know the drive to Dallas?
6 hours, maybe? No,
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 3.
3. I'm tripping. My bad.
Yeah, just
Okay,
3.
I've never driven to
So,
Texas by myself. I've only
okay,
visited a few times.
so so in Oklahoma, when you leave from Oklahoma City, you pass Paul's Valley.
Yeah,
Paul's Valley is the area where there's no set reception and it's like hills, like a literally like a
yeah,
cluster of hills right before the wind farms start. So we started the conversation when we got to Paul's Valley mountain area when there was no reception. We finished the conversation when we hit the state line.
really.
So it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, no.
And then the last one was my friend Andre. So he was one of the last ones. Actually, my last one was my brother. But the reason why I waited to tell Andre is the same reason why I waited to tell my brother. So again, I had my son with me. We went to, what was Beverly's Pancakes on Northwest Expressway. So we were at Beverly's Pancakes. I told my friend to come. My son was with me. And he sat in the booth across from me. And I said, hey, so I have some things to tell you. And my son is sitting there watching me do it. I said, so I found someone. He's like, okay. Oh, okay. I lied to your previous question. And so he's like, okay. I was like, well, I really like them. He said, okay. And I said, and it's a him. Yeah. He said, oh, really? He said, get up. I said, get up. He said, get up. So I got up and he hugged me. He said, I've been waiting for this day.
Uh, yeah,
It's like, okay. But now the backstory, the reason why I did not tell him He's been the longest friend I've ever had in my
Yeah.
life. And one thing about him, I was the nerd student council type of kid in high school, junior high.
Yeah.
He was the star athlete,
Okay. Okay.
star. And he took up for me every time I was called gay. Every time. Every time. Every time. And what I didn't want him to feel, and I didn't want my brother to feel, is that every time they took up for me, that it was now in vain because they were right.
I understand that.
And
I
so that's why I waited to tell them to last, because they're the ones that stood up for me so much and so proudly. I didn't want to make them feel like, like it was for nothing. So yeah, that's my coming out story. Now I come out in conversation. So I think in June or so, I was in a conference room with strangers. We were all
yeah.
getting ready to start a project. And they're like, well, Asa, what if you get married to somebody and she's like this and she's like that? And that went on for a while. Like they kept saying she.
Is that hold on. Let's clear something. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I said you said. You said
Oh.
hold on. You say hold on. Let's clear something up.
So yeah, so after a while, I'm like, okay, so
That
we don't have to
that
bitch.
that coming out of context was really bad. You're like, what is he saying? Hold on. What could he
I was
possibly
like, oh, what? I was like, what happened?
the disrespect?
So,
Okay.
no, you're good. So I was like, okay, cut. I said, so the first thing is I'm pansexual, so this person you're talking about me marrying could be a man or a woman.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I just went on with the story, and nobody flinched. Nobody left the room. It just was what it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
And that's that feeling of it not being an issue, kind of like how people, like when you say, oh, I don't want any cheese on that. And people are like, oh, okay, no cheese. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Or I have a nut allergy. Okay, you have a nut allergy. Like it's not a thing.
Yeah. No.
Like
Yeah.
people will stop coming out when there is not an event around coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
But right now it's still an event. It's still an event.
It's no exactly. Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be. It needs to be just an open thing. Like when your baby is born, your baby might like girls and your baby
Yeah.
might like boys. Or your baby might like people who don't identify as either. Like that just might be a thing.
Do you think
And,
do you think we're growing as a society?
oh my God, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. 100%.
Daily. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm in Dubai now. The city that neighbors Dubai is called Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi has just within the last 30 days passed legislation that says you have the legal right to choose or change your gender. In a Muslim
Really
identified
in
area
Dubai.
of the world, yeah, that don't happen.
That is
Now,
that's amazing.
yeah, Abu Dhabi said that. And anything that Abu Dhabi does that's progressive, that will
Yeah.
attract Westerners, Dubai is not going to be far away.
Of course. That's a
But that's a big thing.
yeah.
Huge. Like huge.
No. Yeah.
So I feel very hopeful about
Yeah.
the world and how we're doing it. Because just like,
I mean, we're growing and we're accepting more, and it's becoming more and more prevalent, and it's incredible because I don't know what exactly could be an example of this, but I know that just because this small start is already branching and already becoming bigger, accepting people coming out, this can lead to so many different acceptances of
mhm,
different things that we now look down as.
right,
Yeah.
right. Because even within queer world, there's still too much of a looking down upon
Yeah.
trans people.
Yeah.
And I don't desire that my trans siblings deserve love and respect and being cherished and adored and all of those things. Like
Of course.
seriously,
Of
all of those
course.
things. Um, but it's too much of that. And so that's why I am as vocal as I am with the level of platform that I do have to express things like that. So I
Yeah.
may make a post that says, I believe that trans people are beautiful,
I mean,
or protect trans kids.
that's how the word gets out, you know? If you stay silent, it's like no one's gonna hear the word. No one's gonna
And
hear the growth. No one's gonna.
and my thing is, somebody might be wondering, well, is he trans? No. You know why I do it? Because once upon a time, there were white people who said really wonderful things about black people.
Yeah.
Like seriously, all that marching wasn't just with only black people. It was some white people getting their heads busted wide open too. Seriously. Um, and so if they could do that, why can't I make a post? Like it's a post.
Yeah. Exactly.
Just a post. I
And
don't think it's that much of activism, but
it ain't gonna
yeah.
hurt no one. It ain't gonna hurt no one.
And if it hurts you, you shouldn't be following me no way, because
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep hurting
Yeah.
you.
Oh yeah. No, you are not silent on social media.
Nah,
It's I love your posts. I love your postings.
thank you.
So I think with all this wrapping up your story overall, that's an incredible story.
Thank you.
That's an incredible coming out story, and that's I hope people like sit down and listen to all this all the way through, because it's like, I mean, honestly, the top bottom question, like you don't expect that. You don't expect that. And
I know.
so I guess, I mean, if anybody else has not exactly come out yet fully to everyone in their life, then I think that opens their mind to whatever, you don't know what to expect.
You don't.
You don't. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
you don't.
So I think we can wrap up here in a little bit, if you don't mind. I want to talk about the entrepreneurship side of things, because it's
Yeah.
like you've been an entrepreneur for your whole life, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Since
Yeah.
I would say 15. You said 15. Do I remember that correctly?
The very first thing that I've ever done entrepreneurial, I did at 7.
7. Really?
Yeah. That's the very first thing I ever did. Just really quickly, I was at, because I grew up in church,
Yeah.
I was in children's church, and I kept seeing all the kids. They would go ask their moms for candy, and they would ask each other for candy, but nobody had candy. But when it was time for offering, the mamas had money. So I was like, they have money for offering, but they have no candy. Maybe they can take the offering money and buy candy. So I asked my mom, I said, hey, can we
Little
go?
kid, big brain.
I
Little kid,
was
big
like,
brain.
can we go get some candy? She like, for what? I said, I want to sell it. She said, you want to sell candy? I said, yeah, they don't have no candy. She said, okay. So she took me to Crest. Uh,
Do
this
you know
is,
that's where I work?
yes, I know.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, okay. I see you.
So,
Sponsored, not sponsored.
so she took me to Crest, which at that time I think it's still called Big Crest. So the Crest by the Reno Swim and Slide. So that was called, in the '90s. That was called Big Crest, even though it had not expanded to what it is today. So we went to Big Crest. We got a Ziploc bag, and we got all this like really really cheap candy. I think we spent like $5 on everything. So I had this big Ziploc bag of candy. The next Sunday, I went and sold out of candy.
And that was when you first got addicted to to the feeling of entrepreneurship. Oh, yep.
And then the next time was when I was going. I was going into 7th grade, so I was going to Carl Albert Middle School, junior high, and I wanted to look a certain way.
Yeah.
And what I did, I asked my mom again. I said, "Can I have $1?" She said, "What you gonna do for $1?" I'm gonna cut grass. said, you gonna cut grass for $1? I said, yeah. It said 89 cents. The gas only cost 89 cents. So remember, this is like 1995.
Yeah.
So I would push my lawnmower from where my neighborhood was. My neighborhood was off of Reno between Post Road and Douglas. So I would push the lawnmower all the way to the 7-Eleven on 10th in a neighborhood that we used to call Murder One. I pushed my lawnmower all the way to Murder One. And there was a reason why they called that neighborhood Murder One.
Yeah.
So I fill up the gas. I would put the gas can on top of the lawnmower, and I would fill up the lawnmower and the gas tank, and then I would mow the grass all the way back home, and I would make $100 a day.
100 a day. I don't
100
even
a
make
day.
that much now.
You could. So what that taught me, well, what I got from it, I was able to go to school with a Tommy Hilfiger backpack
Man.
in 7th grade, and I bought it. So to get that kind of success.
Did your mom realize this success in you like this early on?
You said, did I recognize it?
Your mother, like that
She never said it.
he's grinding. Like, who does that? Really?
She never said it. She never said that to me. When I was 16, I had a girlfriend, and she woke up one day. Get this. She wakes up one day in the summer. My birthday's in June.
Yeah.
My mother really wakes up one day. It's a Saturday morning, like I think 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. She says, Asa, wake up. I say, yes. She say, here's the deal. Your birthday's like 2 days or something. I said, right. She said, I'll take you and your girlfriend to Dallas. We're gonna stay with your aunt down there, the aunt that I love. We're gonna stay down there with her, and y'all can go to Six Flags. The only thing is, y'all gotta pay for the gas money and the ticket money to get into Six Flags.
You said, okay, bet.
I said, for real, for real? She said, yeah, we'll stay all weekend in Dallas. I said, how much we need? So she told me, I think we needed between $200 and $300. So I called my girlfriend up, and we cut grass like we were possessed. Literally.
Really?
Possessed.
She helped too.
She helped me.
That's incredible.
That's one reason why I ended up marrying her, because she was
Yeah.
a grinder like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you guys were together for a while.
Yeah, we were together for 10 years, married for 6.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So, and I thank her for the experience. No animosity. It just was what it was. So yeah, we made between $200 and $300, and we left Oklahoma around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock that night with money in hand, smelling like grass.
Man.
Yeah.
So I think this will bring me to my final and last question. I think we can wrap up because I am very tired. It is past my 9:30 bedtime. That is the truth. Ultimately the truth. So I came across this problem, and I come across this problem quite a bit in my journey as an entrepreneur as well as an entertainer. When do you think someone should take a break? When is a break time? When is a good time? Like, okay, you've grinded for this period of time. Like, how do you balance breaking, sleeping, mental rest, health, and then pushing yourself past your limit to become greater than who you were the day before, or greater than the person who has not yet accomplished the goal that you need to accomplish?
So oftentimes, I feel that new or aspiring entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs are becoming fatigued because they are not clear on what's needed to grow their business. And so
I
often
love
I'm
that. I
seeing
just that, not gonna lie, that explains a lot. I mean, that's almost self-explanatory, truly.
oh, I can
You
go a
know,
little bit deeper, just a little bit.
because if you wake up
Yeah,
and you have a clear goal of like where you want your thing to go, where you want your business to go, where you, et cetera, it's like you're going to be driven toward that because you will have stepping stones, so you will have no resistance.
because if guess what? If I was an entertainer and I played music for a living or I sung, I would have a fee, and I would say to book me is $300 to $500 for a session. And so I would find people who are booking people like me, so country clubs, corporate events,
Yeah.
private parties, and all day long, I'm calling those people and sending out emails to those people. So if I know I want to close 10 people this month in order to make $5,000, that means I'm probably going to have to call or reach out to 100 people.
So the more organized, the more clear. Because I remember when I worked on you, one of the biggest thing was the first thing you, matter of fact, started with was let's get clear on what you want.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is the biggest thing. Like with anyone who's worked with you, probably is the first thing you open up with. Let's get some clarity. Let's know
Because
what we're
you're
doing. Yeah,
you're overwhelmed because you're not organized.
yeah. That it makes perfect sense. It's one. Yeah, exactly. Truly,
But no one, no, when you're in the middle of it, you
it,
sometimes don't feel,
it's
you don't
such a
understand that it's clarity. You're like, no, I
yeah.
need money. I'm like, I'm trying, doing my best to help you
Yeah,
get the money.
yes,
Just
yeah, exactly. um.
quiet.
Oh, there were police alarms that just went off. Right. I'm
I
so
can
that
hear
just
it.
okay. I lost what I was gonna say. That totally took me off track. Okay, someone getting chased down right now. Anyways, alrighty. I think that's all I have for you at this point in time.
Cool.
Alrighty, thank you so much, man. I appreciate your
Most
time. I
welcome.
appreciate what you're doing, and I'm super
Yes.
excited to see you on the 20th and 21st.
Yes. Thank you. And get some sleep.
Yes, I would say you as well, but I
Oh,
don't
I
know.
will.
I don't know
I
what
will.
you're doing at this point in time. Alrighty, I'll see you,
I
man.
will. All right. Good night.
Good night.